In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where the pines whispered secrets to the wind, Alex Thompson pulled his battered pickup truck onto a snow-dusted driveway. It was the dead of winter, and the sky hung low like a shroud, dumping flurries that blurred the world into a white haze. Alex had driven through the night from the bustling chaos of New York City, where his life had unraveled like a cheap sweater, job lost to corporate downsizing, fiancé gone with a note on the fridge, and dreams scattered like autumn leaves. The cabin he now owned, inherited from a reclusive uncle he'd barely known, was supposed to be his fresh start, a quiet retreat to lick his wounds. But as he trudged up the creaky porch steps, stumping snow from his boots, the door creaked open before he could knock. Framed in the warm glow of a firelit interior stood 5 women, their faces illuminated like angels in a Renaissance painting. "You must be the new owner," the tallest one said, her voice steady but laced with caution. "But can you handle all 5 of us?" Alex blinked, his breath fogging in the cold air. He was 32, broad-shouldered from years of manual labor before his desk job, with a scruffy beard that hid the weariness in his eyes. The women before him were strikingly beautiful, each in her own way, one with cascading auburn curls and freckles like stardust, another with ebony skin and eyes that sparkled like polished onyx, a third with delicate Asian features and a quiet grace, the fourth with sun-kissed Latina warmth, and the fifth, the youngest, with blonde hair tied in a ponytail and a defiant spark in her blue eyes. They ranged from their early 20s to mid-30s, dressed in mismatched layers that spoke of practicality over fashion. The cabin smelled of pine logs and simmering stew, a far cry from the empty solitude he'd imagined. "Handle you," he echoed, confusion knitting his brow. "What do you mean?" "This is my uncle's place, my place now." "Who are you?" They invited him in, closing the door against the howling wind. The cabin was modest but cozy, a single great room with a stone fireplace, bunk beds lining one wall, a kitchenette in the corner, and a loft overhead. As they gathered around a scarred wooden table, the women introduced themselves. Elena, the tall one with auburn hair, was a former teacher from Ukraine, fleeing war's devastation. Maya, with her onyx eyes, had escaped domestic violence in Chicago, her bruises long faded but scars etched deep. Li Wei, the graceful one, was an artist from China, smuggled out after her work criticized the regime. Sofia, the warm Latina, had crossed borders from Venezuela, seeking asylum from poverty and peril. And young Hannah, the blonde, was a runaway from a foster system in Ohio that had failed her time and again. They weren't related by blood, but by circumstance. Alex's uncle, old Harlan Thompson, a Vietnam vet with a heart bigger than his gruff exterior, had found each of them at their lowest, through church networks, shelters, or sheer chance, and offered the cabin as sanctuary. "He said this place was for the lost," Elena explained, her accent thick but melodic. "We help each other here. Cook, clean, share stories. But now, you're here." Alex sat there, steam rising from the mug of coffee they pressed into his hands, feeling like he'd stumbled into a dream, or a nightmare. He had planned to sell the cabin, pocket the money, and start over somewhere warm, like Florida. These women were complications, beautiful distractions in a life already too messy. "I appreciate what my uncle did," he said carefully, "but I can't just keep this going. I need to figure out my own path." The women exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing between them. Maya leaned forward, her voice soft but firm. "Harlan told us about you. Said you were kind once, before the city hardened you. He left you this place because he believed in second chances, not just for us, but for you too." Alex felt a pang, memories of his uncle's rare visit surfacing, the old man teaching him to fish as a boy, preaching about how one act of kindness could ripple like a stone in a pond. That first night, Alex slept on the couch, the women's soft murmurs from the bunks lulling him into uneasy dreams. Morning brought clarity, and conflict. He explored the property, finding a shed full of tools, a frozen stream nearby, and stacks of firewood they'd chopped themselves. Over breakfast of oatmeal and wild berries, they shared more. Li Wei showed him her sketches, vivid depictions of freedom that could land her in prison back home. Sofia spoke of her daughter, left with relatives, and her dream to bring her here someday. Hannah, the fiery one, admitted she'd been stealing to survive before Harlan found her. Each story chipped at Alex's resolve, revealing not just beauty in their faces, but in their resilience. Jit nodded at him. How could he, a man barely holding himself together, take on 5 lads? An unexpected turn came that afternoon when a knock echoed through the cabin. It was a local sheriff, tipped off about squatties. Alice's heart raced. Here was his out, a way to evict them legally. But as the officer eyed the women suspiciously, demanding papers, Alex saw fear in their eyes, the same fear he'd felt when his world crumbled. In that moment, a profound realization struck him like lightning. His uncle hadn't just left him a cabin, he'd left a legacy of compassion, a challenge to be more than selfish survival. Alex stepped forward, his voice steady. They're not squatters, Sheriff. They're my guests, family, even. My uncle Harlan invited them, and I'm honoring that. The sheriff grumbled but left, warning of paperwork. The women stared at Alex, stunned. Why? Hannah asked, tears welling. You could have gotten rid of us. Alex rubbed his neck, embarrassed. Because I've been lost too. And maybe, helping you is how I find myself. The days blurred into weeks as winter gripped the mountains. Alex didn't sell the cabin. Instead, he rolled up his sleeves. He fixed the leaky roof with Elena's help, her laughter echoing as snow fell on them. He drove Maya to therapy sessions in town, listening as she opened up about her past, her strength inspiring him to confront his own failures. With Li Hui, he built a small studio in the loft, where her art flourished, one piece even selling online for enough to buy supplies. Sofia taught him Spanish over shared meals, her stories of perseverance fueling his determination to help her file for asylum. And Hannah? She challenged him daily, but under his guidance, she enrolled in online classes, dreaming of college. The cabin became a hive of activity, laughter mingling with tears, arguments giving way to apologies. Alex used part of his small inheritance, a forgotten savings bond from Harlan, to fund their needs, legal aid for visas, art classes, even a plane ticket for Sophia's daughter. But the emotional climax came on a crisp February evening, as a blizzard raged outside. Hannah had a breakdown, screaming about how she'd never amount to anything, her foster traumas boiling over. The others tried to calm her, but it was Alex who knelt beside her, enveloping her in a brotherly hug. You're not alone anymore, he whispered. None of us are. Harlan saw potential in you, in all of us. And I see it too. In that act of raw compassion, something shifted. Hannah obeyed, then quieted, and the group huddled by the fire, sharing vulnerabilities like never before. Alex revealed his own pains, the job loss that shattered his confidence, the breakup that left him questioning love. They listened, not judging, but lifting him with words of encouragement. It was transformative. The cabin, once a refuge for the broken, became a forge for the reborn. Bonds formed not from obligation, but genuine care, proving that selflessness could heal the giver as much as the receiver. Spring arrived like a promise, melting snow revealing green shoots. The women thrived. Elena started tutoring local kids online, Maya volunteered at a shelter, Libé's art gained recognition in a gallery, Sophia reunited with her daughter in a tearful airport embrace, and Hannah aced her first exams. Alex, though, changed. He found work as a carpenter in town, but more importantly, purpose in this makeshift family. As they gathered on the porch one warm evening, watching fireflies dance, Elena turned to him. You handled all 5 of us, and more. Thank you. Alex smiled, his heart full. No, thank you. For showing me that kindness isn't a burden, it's the bridge that connects us all. In the end, the cabin stood not as an inheritance of wood and stone, but of humanity's boundless power. Alex learned that in opening his door to strangers, he opened his soul to joy. And in a world often divided, their story whispered a timeless truth. One person's generosity can ignite a chain of hope, reminding us that we're all capable of handling more than we think, especially when we do it together. For in the quiet acts of compassion, we find our truest strength, inspiring others to believe in the goodness that unites us all.